my apprentice.
Hi.
Wicked, sister.
Hello.
Come on. Right, where's your conflicts?
Well, I don't have it. I have not.
Right, let me go and
Do you want to
grab
go? Oh, thank you. I've just been sorting out the judges. We have Gary. Okay, guys, we are going to rock and roll.
Oh, hang on. No, we're not. I haven't got my conflicts yet.
Yeah, I'll do that.
No, I'll do that.
I've done it all.
Where?
There's here. That's George.
Georgina.
It's Georgina. No, Georgia Pilatus. That one there.
Ah, and he's on the panel.
Yes, to start with, because I can't flick it around any other way. He will come off once. He'll come off once, and then I can put Luke Simon on his spot.
Right.
It's going to be a bit of a flip-flop, but that's right.
You realise you're on.
Hey guys, we're all good. Excellent. Welcome to the wedding category of the 2019 AIPP EPSON SA Northern Territory Professional Photography Awards. This amazing category is sponsored by the incredible Nikon, the best cameras and lenses. So I'm going to get stuck into it. My name is Kate Ellis and I'll be your panel chair for this session. The lovely Louise Bagger, not Mark said. That's what switched around, is going to be my panel chair assist. And thank you to our crew of print handlers out the back. We have Kane and Kate and Asan out the back. Thank you, guys. You all ready? No, they went out. Okay, today on our panel we have the lovely Laurie, we have David Hattie, we have George, and we have David Evans and Karen Lynch. Welcome, guys. Thanks again. Alrighty, let's get stuck into the category preamble.
Have we got standby judges?
Yes, we have. I can assure you everything's under control.
Relax. No, just to read them out. Who they are.
We have Gary, not currently in the room, Kilu, and Luke Simon on standby. Thanks, guys. Alrighty, this category is for wedding photography that represents industry practice, including but not limited to creative posing, photojournalism, post-production, storytelling, and image presentation. The wedding category will be judged in two sections, wedding open and wedding single capture. The category is judged in two sections to assist the judges in their assessment. However, there will only be one award. Entries into this category must be commissioned. Entries must be captured must be captured during or on the day of the client's actual wedding or civil union. The only exception is to accommodate cultural differences when the wedding runs over consecutive days. Second shooters who have been contracted by the main photographer and or the subjects may enter their images providing they have retained the copyright or usage rights for the images. Second shooters must have permission of the main photographer to enter the images. Second shooters may not enter an image where the main photographer directed or posed the subjects. Polyptychs, diptychs and triptychs are permitted in both sections. Wedding open, entrants may utilise all post-production techniques including multiple images or elements in producing their entry. If several photographic elements are used, all the elements must have been taken at the same wedding or civil union with the exemption of borders and textures. Wedding single capture. This section is intended to reward technical and creative excellence in photographing and presenting an authentic representation of a scene without the benefit of creative compositing techniques. Photojournalistic images may be suited to either single capture section of the wedding category or the documentary category if they conform to the category rules. Everyone set? Alrighty, I think we can start judging. We are starting with the open. We can start with our first print, please. We are judging the open category.
Oh, hang on. David, just hold on before you put your scores in, please. Just hang on a sec, David.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay, thanks, guys. This print has got an average of 81, a silver award. Congratulations. David, can I pick on you for a second? Thank you.
I love the symmetry and the idea of the superheroes and everything that's going on here. Am I on? I think if there's another image in this capture, what would have brought it up a little bit further for me would be all of them being very much in symmetry with each other in terms of their stance and the amount of their heads coming out all being exactly the same, which is a case of direction from the photographer. But yes, very nice idea.
Thank you, David. We can have our next print, please. Thank you, judges. This print scores an average of 80, but a majority of 79. David Evans, can I pick on you, please?
The density of the printing on her and her looking up to the light's really exquisite. I think it's a great professional photo. I find the hand and the arm really disjointed from her body. It almost doesn't look like it belongs to her, like a puppet or something like that. And I think it needs to be cropped a little bit more to make it stronger. So I think there's more potential in this image to make it a silver.
Thank you, David. Next print, please. I'm going to remind everybody about the amazing dinner we have at the Adelaide Bowls Club tomorrow night. There will be barefoot bowling. And whilst unfortunately it's not an open bar, the bar will be open.
Open bar, right?
Still tickets available. Come on down.
Where do they go to get tickets? How do you get a ticket?
How do you get a ticket? You can jump on multiple places. You can jump, I think you could probably find it through the AIPP website, through the Facebook page, through the SA community. You could find a wonderful person who is involved in the AIPP South Australia and hassle them. Thank you, judges. This print scores 82. And there is a challenge from the lovely Laurie. Go for it. Oh, sorry. Go for it, mate.
I'm going to start off.
Obviously, but we can see a lot of what's happening here. We can see the girls are all bringing together, they're having a moment, they're enjoying it. We can see the dress, we can see what the girls are wearing, we can see their hair. I love the triangular, which is, you know, that real sort of giving me that sort of real position of where this is all sitting as well. Apart from all of that, this is really beautifully printed. You know, there's some darks in there in the bottom part of the image, and when I'm looking in there, I can see the dress still, and then where it goes to black, I'm not bothered because it actually doesn't have anything else to add to the image. Her hand comes up beautifully out of there. She's being supported by this group that's around her. Everything about this image is harmonious, and I feel like it's a real moment in a wedding that's been captured really well by the photographer, and I've given it a silver distinction.
Thanks, Laurie. George, would you like to have a comment, please?
Yeah, I couldn't quite see that. I think it's a beautiful perspective of a nice moment. But what really takes it away and keeps me down is the sharpness is on her hair, and that is also sharp on her lower hand, her hand on the wall there. So your eye goes straight to that hand, and it takes you away from what's happening, the moments that are happening. You can't really see any expressions except for the lady up the top, but her head is cropped, which also takes you out of the image. So there's a number of technical elements there that that affects the storytelling of this image. So I see it as a high professional standard, but not an award.
Thanks, George. Laurie, right of reply.
Coming right back in there. Look, you know, undeniably by the girl at the top, you can tell that there's something fun going on, or she's finding it fun at least. Everything about this image tells me it's a wedding. And the fact that we've got focus on the centre of this piece being the bride, and that we can see her head and the beautiful headpiece that she's wearing as well. You know, there's detail in this shot. There's a softness in her dress. Her dress is soft. It's not hard. It shouldn't be sharp. I can't fault it. I'm really looking for everything plus, and I don't know that a silver is strong enough to award this photographer, and I'm looking for a silver distinction.
Thanks, Laurie. We'll keep you where you are, and everyone else can rescore, please. The score was 82. It's not letting you? I don't think we have to push it anyway. Yeah, he did push it anyway. Thank you, guys. Go for it. Nearly there. 84. Solid silver. Well done, Laurie. Yeah, I'm doing it. Cool. Okay, we're just going to do a quick judge swap. George, can I swap you out for Luke, please?
So judges, just really quickly, don't be too quick to push the challenge button, just in case there might be another judge who's challenging who might be higher than you. Did I actually press You did, yes, yeah. So just be real
Too
careful
excited.
not to, yeah, you got excited,
It's
which
all
is
good.
good. We like excitement.
And we'll have next print, please. You're right, swap that. Thank you, judges. We have a majority of 80, average of 79. Congratulations. Silver award. I'm going to pick on Luke Simon, please. For a comment, thanks.
Yeah, beautifully seen moment. What held me back on this one was while there is a lovely sense of movement with the way it's been captured in terms of the shutter speed, the focus point for me was on those doors in the background. So maybe if there's another frame where they're just a little bit sharper, that would have nailed it for me, for sure.
Thank you, judges. Next print, please. I'm going to say a big thank you to Malcolm from Martin Senior College for allowing us to borrow these rooms over the last couple of days. He is here very early in the morning to unlock and very late in the day while we finish up. So thank you so much, Malcolm. Thank you, judges. This print averages 80, but majority 79. Karen, can I ask you for a comment, please?
I would have loved to have scored this a little bit higher. It's a tiny bit of movement towards the camera has meant the right hand is right there. That was just a little bit distracting. I wish that it was more or less. And also I just wanted it maybe cropped down a little bit from the top. But I would have loved to have scored it higher if that was the case.
Thank you, guys. Next print, please. Thank you, judges. This print scores 82. Silver award. David Evans, could you comment, please?
I love it how this reads from bottom left to top right, and everything in there reads that way, including their pose and the way that the dress has been moved up. Also showing the beautiful detail of that dress in the process. So I think it's a really good use of this mural to do that. It's very successful.
Thanks, David. We'll grab the next print, please. This print scores an 80. Silver award. David, you seem keen.
I love the print quality is beautiful, and I love the scene with the seeing of the light. I would love to have seen the groom, presumably, right in the middle of the door, as everything else was so beautifully arranged, so that we don't have the lines of the door just cutting through his head, and they'll just lift it up just that little bit more.
Thanks, David. Luke, you're really keen.
Yeah, I just wanted to say one quick little thing as well. If the photographer is thinking of taking this to AIPPA, just to have a look at the highlight between his legs down near his feet. It's just the hottest point on the print, and yeah, eye kind of grabs that. So just maybe bringing that back a bit in the printing would be great.
Beautiful. Thanks, Luke. And Karen, real quick.
So on the legs, just the groom's right leg, be careful that you don't lose the pants into the door with too much darkening.
Beautiful. Lovely feedback, guys. Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you, judges. We have an 82 silver award. A comment, please, from Gary. You're on the lower end of the scale.
Yeah, look, I might have gone a bit higher, maybe with a little bit of crop work. I'm just thinking about that left side of the image and then sending the whole show graphic. So you really have to search for the figures for quite a while. So, and making more use of those directional arrows linked with the figures. So yeah, the white with the black. But yeah, there we go.
Thanks, guys. Next print, please. A very big thank you to the CCP, the Centre for Creative Photography, who sponsors our exhibition at the Wine Centre each year, which I believe goes up a week or so after the... What did I say? Oh, is this their first year? Oh, well, there we go. Thank you, CCP. It's wonderful that exhibition goes up at the Wine Centre about a week or so after the awards, so please make sure you get along. I'm sure it will be advertised heavily on all the socials. This print scores an average of 82, silver award. David Evans. Oh, sorry, Gary. Gary, would you like to speak and sit? Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Oh, doesn't this look like a great wedding to be at? I wouldn't mind being there right now, actually. I reckon it'd be great. For the benefit of everyone, there's bras, there's artificial limbs. It's fantastic. Yeah. I reckon the next few pictures would have been even. Yeah. Well done. Good stuff.
Thanks so much, Gary. I'm going to swap some people around. Karen, can you swap for Key, please? And David, can you swap for George? Sorry, David Evans. Thanks, guys. Yeah, sure. Alrighty. And we'll have the next print, please. Thank you, judges. This print scores 79. Laurie, can I hear from you, please, for a quick chat? You're right.
Yeah, I was just wondering, because there's a couple of little stories in here, and I guess I sort of was a bit intrigued about what was going on in the background and whether it was supposed to be a secret. Because I mean, to me, the bride and groom were at the front, and there was something else going around in the background while everybody's watching the bride and groom. So I thought it was really clever, and I enjoyed it, and gave it a silver award. 81, I should say.
Thank you, judges. We will go to the next print, please. And that amazing exhibition at the Wine Centre, sponsored by the Centre of Creative Photography, runs from the 29th of May to the 16th of June. Should be very exciting. It's a beautiful exhibition. and we'll be calling for volunteers to help set it all up and bring it all down, I would imagine. Is there an opening night? I would say so. Who's going to not go to the wine centre for any reason at all? For wine. And beautiful prints. Our prints, our beautiful prints. And our wine. I will confirm a date shortly when people bring it to me written on a little piece of paper again. Thank you, judges. This print scores 83. And George is not happy with that. Go for it.
I think I tried to find a fault. I couldn't find one. It's a perfectly composed image. Everything from the capture to the printing, you can see the details in the blacks, the details in the highlights. This is direct sunlight. To position the bride there with a beautiful soft pose and the leading lines of the roof leading you straight to her, the diagonal images on either side of the bride, the shadow finishing within that strip of light. It's not going beyond it, it's not getting cut off, it holds you in there. Even the strip of light doesn't hit the frame at the bottom of the image, so again it keeps you straight in the middle, looking at that beautiful bride, her dress, and what an incredible image. Thank you.
Thanks, George. Kay, you're on the lower end of the scale at 79. Do you want to have a bit of a talk?
When this image turned around, I really enjoyed it. But when I went up close and have a closer look, what I really wanted to see to really push me to the wood level is the way the hand is touching the hair. I felt that the way the hand is positioned is a bit too hard. If the fingers was a bit more softer, if the wrist is a bit more lower, so we can't see the pointy end of the wrist, that would be much higher level for me. And I also want to question, why wouldn't you move the bride's face more towards the sun so we can see at least one of the eye, that can show a bit one of the eye in brightness, so we can see a bit more of the face. And that's what's stopping me from going to the wood level. But I'm willing to listen.
Cool. Thanks, Key. Laura, you're up there with 85.
Yeah, look, I from a distance, I was looking at the graphic sort of shape of her, because she's obviously the point where we're looking at the most, and she's got this beautiful S bend about her. It's very, it's the sort of thing that you would look for in fashion. I don't feel that a hand is posed for me. It looks like she's delicately, she's holding her hair and she's doing it quite naturally for me. I don't feel that it's too constructed. I totally enjoyed that shadow and where it landed and where it finished. And what would have brought it to gold for me and is just that little bit more space down the bottom, just to give it a little bit more of her sort of lifted a little bit more. But, silver distinction is where I kept it, but I'm still willing to listen to bring it up a little bit higher too.
Gary, George wants us to gold. What are your thoughts?
Look, George, I've got a little bit further to catch you at gold. It's a pretty amazing print though, isn't it? To highlight detail all the way down into those deep black shadows. And it's interesting, it's contrasty, but it's pastel as well. The way it's been printed, this could easily have gone into a super contrasty mode, but in terms of how the paper, has translated the tonal range. So there's those subtle little triangles that all point to I suppose we haven't spoken about lines. All of the lines are pointing your eye to where you need to go. Maybe if the dress was whiter, maybe that's an area that could have been a bit of a difference. But at the end of the day, it's been really well executed. So I'm still, I can be swayed a bit further from my 82.
Thanks, Gary. George, go for it.
Yeah, so I think what you said about the dress is the lightest point in the image, so your eye goes directly to that. If it was any lighter, you would have lost some detail. So I think it's at its perfect value. The angle of her hand to me feels very delicate. The fingers, it doesn't feel forced. The angle of her wrist actually matches on either side of her, those angles of the building, as well as the angle of her thighs match the roof. So there's so many angles that help bring your eye back to the center. I think a gold award is outstanding visual communication, interpretation, emotional impact, and technique, and this ticks all the boxes.
Thanks, George. Nice conversation, guys. George, you'll leave your score there, and the rest can rescore, please. Well done, guys. We got it to 87, a silver distinction. Thank you. Good conversation, guys. Thank you. Next print, please. This print score was 81, silver award. Thank you. Laurie, can I have a comment from you? Only if you want to.
Yeah, look, the use of the frame of the actual building there, it just brings it all together really nicely. I sort of, I guess the lights above it, for me, could have been taken away because they sort of distract me a little bit, and I was wondering why they were there and couldn't really make sense of them, and thought, well, maybe they shouldn't be there. But otherwise, it's a really beautiful moment of all the girls together having a good time.
Excellent. Oh, sorry, Key, you'd like to make a comment?
Yes, I do. If the photographers think of entering this into AIPPA, I would agree to get rid of the two light on left and right, and even consider getting rid of all the little light in the background, because that can be a bit distracting. This is in the open category anyway, so you might as well get rid of it, and just so it's image not more cleaner and just that's all.
Lovely comments. Thank you, guys. Just hold everything, please. Alrighty. Sorry for the little break. Next print, please. Thank you, judges. This print scores 82, silver award. David Hattie, can I get a chat from you, please?
I love the graphic nature of this and the two little birds, of course, on the just replicating the bride and groom, which is delightful. There is a little bit of detail in the footpath, and I wouldn't mind just a little bit more of that coming through. I know we have the very black graphic, but sometimes that just blocks up just a little bit. If we could just see a little bit in there, we could sort of enter the image just that little bit more, but delightful.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. I'm going to do a big shout out to the amazing EPSON for sponsoring the entire awards.
Absolutely.
Yeah, all the things they sponsor, all the state awards. It could not be done without the wonderful EPSON and their incredible banners. They exceed your vision.
Incredible printers.
And incredible printers. Thank you, judges. This is an average of 84, but a majority 85. Silver distinction. Nice work. Excellent. Gary, you want to talk to the print?
It doesn't even look like a wedding picture. It looks like skeletal things. It's quite an amazing treatment of two figures. Really great interpretation of what is essentially a very simple moment. It's incredible symmetry and a beautiful print too. There's tones in those blacks that you can just pick up. You can pick up his suit against it as well. So well done.
Thank you, judges. Beautiful. Next print, please. Thank you, judges. This print has an average of 81, but a majority 79. George is going to challenge. Go for it.
So go, Gary, tell him what he's got. Tell him what he's got.
Yeah, sure thing. So an average of 81, but a majority 79. So you're working with 77, 79, 82, yourself on 90, and a 78.
Wow. Feels like we're looking at two different images, but I'll explain what I'm looking at, and hopefully we can bring you up. And this is one of the most difficult shots to capture and execute. The communication skills of this photographer to get everything in focus from what's happening in the foreground right through to the background. You can see a beautiful connection between the bride and the guy holding the umbrella. I love the way it's dark and your eyes led to that moment. And then you move to the background and you've got this guy laughing, and his expression is priceless. Just behind the bride, you've got another guy who's doesn't have an umbrella and he's pissed off, but it's just beautiful. Further back as well, there's so many elements to this. The rain is pelting down. You can really feel the moment. There's so much detail there, so much story, and would like to bring you all up to a high silver, gold. Let's hear what you're thinking.
Thanks, George. I'm just going to correct, that was an automatic challenge. So, George, you won't get a right of reply. So make sure you've said everything you want to say.
Yeah.
You do get to rescore. You will be able to rescore as well as everyone else.
Yeah, so there's a couple things like the greyness. That at first I thought, oh, that's pretty grey, but that's what I'm feeling. It's pouring rain, but there's elements of laughter, and there's so many emotions going on in there. And it's a beautiful storytelling image in one scene. So, yeah.
Thank you. Laurie, can I ask for your comments, please?
Look, I definitely want to applaud the photographer for being able to capture this scene in this sort of weather. I can imagine how difficult it must have been. However, I was struggling with the fact that the photographer would have control in what we're seeing in the print here now. Those clouds at the top there, they're wider than her dress. And I'm keep on going to those clouds, and I'm not going to the bride at all. I'm going to the clouds. Each time I look at this picture, I go straight to those clouds, which pulled it away for me. But I found it really difficult to come up higher than professional practice.
Thanks, Laurie. Anyone else want to? Yeah, David.
Hello. I was torn with. I really wanted to. I gave it 79. I really wanted to give it more because of the feeling. And as a photographer in those conditions, it's like, ugh. So, congratulations to the photographer for capturing this image. My issue came with, I think it's the printing, perhaps, because I would definitely perhaps even revisit this image. I love the greyness. I can see the water coming down. But I think it's the celebrant, but in the background, just behind the bride, because he's holding something. And it's just that definite V of the dress, and everything's pointing towards him, and he's just kind of super sharp, and you can see a little bit of the halo of burning, of dodging, and that sort of thing, which is those sorts of little things that just, it was like, I want to give it something, but not quite. I'm happy to come up some more, but I can't find yet a way to go to gold unless I'm convinced.
Okay. Thanks, David. Gary, can I get a comment from you, please?
Yeah, look, quickly, there you go. Happiest day of your life, hey? What could possibly go wrong? And it's all going wrong. But, there's a few people still happy. Everyone's soldiering on. The figure with the hood over the head, crazy Uncle Frank who decided to bring his raincoat. Good on you, Uncle Frank. You've just made it quite strange. He doesn't even look like he belongs there, but we can talk about him later on. But it's a really interesting little song. It reminded me of like notes on a page that tickle across there, and it's a bleak image. It's a bit sad, but they're kicking on and they're going to get the job done no matter what happens. Some of them have ditched their bouquets and what have you on the barrel, and yeah, I'm not at gold there yet, but yeah, I think the clouds are the ray of hope that's going on. They started the day, and maybe there's a bit of hope on the horizon. Things will change. So there you go. That's where I'm coming from.
Thanks, Gary. Key, would you like to comment?
Yes, please. To the photographer, this image has huge potential, but go crazy with it. Don't be afraid. This is an open category still.
We are in open still.
Yeah, go crazy with it. Maybe consider having a colour. Make the cloud really nice and dramatic and dark. So the focus, and then bring the day. Make the day really gloomy. Make it, because this is the way this is edited is a bit grey. Make it more punchy to match with the weather, because how it's edited is not telling what the weather is really looking like. It's a really horrible day. And watch out for the end of the people. They are a bit distorted because of the wide angle. Fix that. fix the distortion, and this would be a really powerful image. I think it has huge potential, but go back and work on it.
Beautiful. Good discussion, judges. I'm going to get you all to rescore, please. It ended up at a 79 with an average of 81. Well done, George. You got it to a very solid silver at 84. Well done, guys. Next print, please. Thank you, judges. We have a silver at 81. Laurie, please talk to me.
Yeah, look, I wanted to firstly congratulate the photographer and also perhaps give you some hints or some advice or whatever you would like to take it as, because I think you've gone to something really cool here and you can strengthen it. The thing that I couldn't sort of bring together was the mirror and the guy looking down, and then he's looking in the same direction as she's looking, so they're both looking out to the right. And I wondered that if the mirror was actually on the other side and reversed, so that he's looking down at her and she's looking up at him, they sort of then felt like they belong together, because they feel a little bit disjointed where they are. So I don't know, have a play with it, but it might be something worth doing for APPA.
Thanks, Laurie. Okay, judges, I'm going to call for a blank screen, please. That is the end of our open category. Well done, guys. David, you're good. Yep, we will do some swapsies.
So we won't just wait to accept it. So just do the physical swap and then we'll call for the first print, then we'll swap the names.
Okay, cool. No worries. Let me just work out who's who now that we know. Can you turn me off for a second? We are going to go into... Why does it say open?
It'll next set and then it'll come into open.
Oh, there you go. It's too clever. Okay, we are going to go into single capture. Single capture is intended to reward technical and creative excellence in photographing and blah. We all know exactly what it's doing.
Go ahead and read it.
Really?
Yeah. Reiterate.
Okay, cool. Sorry. This section is intended to reward technical and creative excellence in photographing and presenting an authentic representation of a scene without the benefit of creative compositing techniques. Photojournalistic images may be suited to either the single capture section of the wedding category or the documentary category if they conform to the category rules. Okay. Now we're all set. Now I press this little button and we get stuck into it. We can grab our first print, please. We have to do that first. There we go. I've done it. the amazing EPSON sponsor the State Awards, and we thank them from the bottoms of our hearts for their amazing support in running these awards. It could not be done without them. Thank you, judges. This scores an 81 Silver Award. Are we all good with that? You're not good with that? Would you like to do something about that? There we go. Karen would like to challenge that. Go for it, Karen.
I think this is more than a silver image. What did it get? It not gotten 81.
We are at 81, and
Okay.
you're working with 83, 80, 77, 79, and 86. for
Okay,
yourself.
I'd really like to see this image go a little bit higher. I think it is silver with distinction because it's quirky. It's captured this split second where I'm assuming Grandma, Nonna, is getting her makeup done, and her expression is just hilarious. And meanwhile, in the bedroom, we've got Nono, getting ready. He's just doing his thing, and I just love it. I think that this is a wedding day. This is something that doesn't usually get captured, but if I was the bride and groom, I would look at this and just laugh and just think, this is so cool that I've got this of my grandparents. So I would really like to see it come up. There are a couple of little technical things. I think there's a little bit of movement in Grandpa on the right there, but I think it can be forgiven. I'd really like to see it come up to a silver with distinction. I wish I'd gone higher.
Thanks, Karen. Can I ask Gary for a comment, please?
Well, straight away I'll say I'm coming up into silver. Here we go. Hey, the glamour of the wedding day. Here it is. You know, I suppose the tonal piece through the middle was a bit sort of wishy-washy. Maybe that could have been a little bit more even. But look, those things aside, I completely understand what you're saying about this. You know, this backroom view of a day that's, supposed to be glamorous and pretty. And yeah, there's some parts of the day that are not quite as glamorous. But yeah, good stuff. Well done. I'm coming up.
Thanks, Gary. Would you like to comment, Laurie? You're all right.
I'm obviously already at silver, and I enjoyed the image. I think it's got a beautiful quirkiness to it, as you described. The photographers really captured something that is memorable and we can all relate to, which is really cool, and I think that's why we all enjoyed it. So yeah, I'm happy with my silver.
Thanks, Laurie. Karen, you've got a right of reply, mate.
Oh, I don't think there's anything more that can be said, but I just want to reiterate what I said before about if this was my wedding day, I would love to have this memory of my grandparents. So this is just cool. It's a really fun shot. I love it.
Thanks, Karen. You need to stay at 86, but everyone else can re-enter, please. Thanks, team. 83, solid silver. Congratulations. Thanks, guys. Next print, please. I'm going to say a massive shout out right now to Nikon, who sponsor this wedding category. Nikon holds a nice little place in my heart as they have followed me on my career. I know. Oh, I know. So thank you so much, Nikon, for sponsoring the wedding category. Thanks, team. This print scores a 79. Gary, can I have a chat from you? Is that all right?
Yeah, look, I think the photographer's seen an interesting location, certainly in this open shade sort of area. But I'm just kind of getting a dominance of the tree over what is really not the true subject that we need to relate to. The tree's just kind of taken over the show, that's all. So, yeah, I think maybe think about some other ways of cropping this style of picture.
Still very high professional practice, so congratulations. Next print, please. Thanks, judges. This print scores a 79. George would like to challenge that. Go for it, George.
Solid silver. I'm really enjoying the colours and the moment captured here as a single capture. So to be in that spot and capture the groom walking his dog, there's a real playful story there. There is some distracting elements like the shed in the background, but I don't think I still believe that this photographer should receive an award for this capture. So,
Thanks, George. Laurie, you're at 77. Would you like to comment? No.
Yeah, look, I've put it in the professional practice range, and I guess for me that shed was really, it was very distracting, and I couldn't sort of didn't know how it could possibly add to the story. So, I think the photographer obviously is photographing the wedding, so they may have had the opportunity to move in a different direction to be able to perhaps get a clearer shot without that shed there. So, yeah.
Thanks, Laurie. Karen, would you like to comment?
The shed is probably what does it for me. I think if it was maybe I'd love to see it cropped in a little bit. Just that darkness in the leaves that are coming down to the left is just a little bit too much, as opposed to the brightness of the groom and the other shed in the other behind him. The shed behind him is quite bright. So I think maybe a different crop might have seen me pull it up to silver.
Sure thing. George, you have a right of reply.
yeah, there's a few things there, but I still don't think it really takes away from this the story and the capture. Yeah, I love the way the leading lines bring you into the groom and the angle of his feet, the line of the dog. It's beautifully seen. I'm not asking for much, just a couple points from 79 into silver.
To silver. Beautiful. Thanks, George. You have to stay where you are. Everyone else can rescore, please. Oh, well done. We have an average of 79, but a majority of 80. Silver award. Congratulations. Well fought, George. Next print, please. Thank you. This print scores 81, a silver. Karen, can I get a comment from you, mate?
This is a really pretty light and airy image. I like that the bride is framed by the frame in there. The shirts of the little boys are perhaps a little bit on the bright side, maybe to pull those down there. If I squint at the brightest part of the image, but that little cheeky wedgie grab is great. It's really cute.
Thanks, Karen. Thank you, guys. We're going to swap out George for Luke, please. And we're going to go next print, please. You got to go out. Key, can I grab you just for this one print, please? Thank you, guys. This print scores 75. Laurie, could I get a comment from you, please?
It's got an interesting idea here. I think what held it back for me a little bit is that I felt that it was a bit flat. So, maybe bringing up that white in there, playing around with the contrast. But, yeah, look, interesting idea.
Cool. Thanks, Laurie. Key, you can swap back with Karen, please. And next print, please. Thank you, judges. This print scores an 81, a silver award. David Evans.
There's just something quite interesting I find about the shape of this mirror. The fact that I can't define edges I quite like. At first I didn't, and then I thought, actually, I'm really enjoying it. Hello.
Sorry.
That's all right.
My assistant.
I'm really enjoying the fact that I can't now, because it just leaves me kind of a little bit of mystery in what is a fairly standard pose. So I think it's really a nice silver.
Thank you, David. Next print, please. Thank you, judges. This print scores a 79. Strong professional practice. Gary, could I get a comment from you? We'll turn your microphone on this time.
Look, the reflection story is there, but I think our figure on the left-hand side, and certainly the skin tones on the bride they're quite orange and and quite bright compared to the really nice skin tones in the reflection. So I'd like to see consistency with those two elements so that they work together as a reflection. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you. We'll go to the next print, please. Thank you, guys. This is an 84, very solid silver, but yeah, happy to? Okay, cool. Go for it, Laurie. Laurie would like to challenge. Laurie's challenging it at 93, guys. You're working with an 81, an 82, an 81, and an 83.
Single capture. Apart from the fact that everything about this print technically is spot on. There's detail in all of it. So that's spot on. The expressions in the guys' faces, I think you can pretty much pinpoint who the groom is, because he's the one who looks most concerned, where the rest of the guys look like they're just going to have a good time. But getting the dress like that, having her expression, you know, everything is in its right place. Everything about this image gives me fun. There's clarity in there. Look, I'm going to read off a gold award here. Outstanding visual communication. We've got the fun part of this wedding. Interpretation, emotional impact, and technique. I want to be a part of this this wedding. You know, everything about this is fun. So, you know, I've put it at a gold. What am I working with?
You are working with an 81, an 82, another 81, and an 83.
Okay. Well, I'd be interested to hear what you guys.
Yeah. Let's have a chat. Luke, I'll start with you if that's all right.
Yeah, I mean, I stuck this in the solid silver, like in the silver range. I found the printing just a little off in terms of just the whites in like the guys' shirts are just a little bit muddy, and I just wanted to see a little bit more kind of contrast in the printing side of things, and maybe some of the foliage in the background just printed down a little bit. It is a super fun, fantastic single capture image, and I sort of sat it solidly in that silver range based on that. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Luke. Gary, you're at 82.
Yeah, yeah, she really looks like she's fallen from a great height, actually. She doesn't look like she's being tossed in the air. She actually looks like she's falling. And she's kind of happy, but also at the same time thinking, geez, these blokes better catch me. So, and I think that part of the image has been really well captured, you know, that mixture of terror and happiness. And the emotion is somewhere in between. And I'm not quite up in the gold range though, but I do love the idea of catching the falling bride. I think it's been really well shot, and all of us have recognised that. I don't have much more there.
Cool. Laurie, you're asking for gold. Bring it home.
Yeah, look, I'm asking for some really strong reward here for the photographer, because, you know, this is something that could have been fabricated but wasn't. You know, we're looking at a single capture here. They've thought about what they're doing. The guys are obviously thinking about what they're doing. I see her expression as being quite, you know, for me, it's enjoyable. Maybe I enjoy seeing people falling. But it's almost got a little bit of an angelic feel to it as well, in terms of, you know, the fallen angel, and these are the guys that go to catch her. I don't know. The story for me is really quite beautiful and fun. So let's bring it up and give it a really strong encouragement for the photographer to reward them for their work.
Beautiful. Okay, guys, Laurie will stay at 93. Everybody else can rescore. We have an 87, a silver distinction. Congratulations. Well done, Lauren.
Good job.
Thanks, guys. Next print, please. I'm going to say another big shout out to Marden, especially as we are now using their air conditioning, even in late April. So thank you, Marden. Thanks, guys. We have a 79. Oh, everyone's keen. Gary, so he's already first to the microphone.
Look, the sequence is essentially the same picture, I think, is where most of us might be sort of going, well, what do I see from 4 images that I can't see in one? So I think it's the same, basically the same concept times 4. So I think if you're going to use a sequence, show me a sequence that has some evolving elements throughout it, rather than just trying to add to what's essentially one idea. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thanks, Gary. Karen, can I quickly swap you off for Key? Can you come back on just for a wee second? Next print, please. Thanks, guys. This scores a 77. Key, can I get a comment from you, please?
Sure. I think if we're going to pose this photo or plan it, maybe have the couple right dead center to the door. And I think there's a bit too much noise reduction used in the image, and that can be something to look into.
Beautiful. Thanks, Key. Next print, please. This print scores a 77. Gary.
Look, I think when you're dealing with bunches of guys and obviously some engagement between 3 guys and an elderly relative, whatever. But I mean, the engagement between the 3 guys with their sunglasses on is lost with the other the figure in the wheelchair. So the other thing too, the skin tones here are quite pink and magenta, so some more control in the skin tones could be good. So I'd just love to see their faces and their eyes as well, those guys.
Thanks, Gary. We'll have the next print, please. Thank you, judges. This print scores an 82. Nice, solid silver. Gary. Making side
Hi.
eyes.
Yeah. Beautifully lit. Lovely soft lighting on everybody. And you know, the control, I think, of the highlights up around that mirror to keep all these tones just right. So lovely print too. So interesting. Just a bit of warm tone in the print too. So really nice work. Yeah, silver award.
Thank you very much, judges. Next print, please. Thank you, judges. We have a 77. Can I get a comment from David Evans, please?
I like the print quality. I think the kiss, for me, is just a little too awkward. She almost looks like she's playing the trumpet, and he looks like he's sort of eating her. Yeah. So, and so just maybe there's another frame. Sorry, I shouldn't have. So I found that the kiss is more awkward, and she's sort of leaning back, and I think maybe the scene is nice, but the awkwardness is what brought it below award standard.
Cool. Thank you very much, David. Next print, please. Just going to do another quick shout out to wonderful Nikon for sponsoring this category. Thank you again so much. I'm being accused of chasing free kit. I'm not chasing free kit. Thank you, Luke. Thank you, Nikon. Sorry, team. This print scores a 74. David, Hattie, could I get a comment from you, please?
Yeah, sure. It's an interesting idea, and the circle inside the square inside the mat is not necessarily doing it any favours, but it's interesting. But mostly, I think it's the extra softening or the treatment where the hair is not defined. Doesn't quite go with the sharpness of the face. I'm not sure if the smoke is being composited in there, that coming out of her mouth. She may be able to do that, but usually people purse their lips just a little bit for that to come out. So there are some elements there that just need to be refined. Perhaps the photographer can look at this sort of image again and rework it with the print quality as well.
Thank you, David. We are in single capture, so nothing would have been done.
Okay,
Cool.
all right.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you, judges. We have a 76. Laurie, can you have a quick chat to it?
There's some lovely use of the light that's present in this particular image. I guess for me the concern, or where I sort of could have brought it up, it's the expressions on their faces. They look more concerned about where they're putting their feet than what's about to happen or has happened. So I guess for a wedding portrait, I would have liked to have seen them being excited.
Thanks, Laurie. We can have our next print, please. Thank you, judges. We have a 78. Just wondering, David Evans, could you have a chat to this one? You're on 80.
Yeah, for some reason I liked the story behind this. I saw that guy having a cheeky wee in the bushes and almost missing their departure and hopping out with a beer. I don't know. It just made me smile. And so I gave it a silver.
Thanks, David. We'll have next print, please. So we have an average of 84, but a majority of 85. Nice work, guys. Key, can I get a comment from you?
I'd love to comment on this image. Well, I consider photography, there's two types of photography. One where the client will hang it on the wall, and one you submit it into a competition. And this photo falls into both categories. and that's why I think it's very deserving of a silver distinction. It's very hard to, you know, in a sunset like that, when the blue creep in from the sky, it's very hard to get that right balance. And I think the photographer have done an amazing job balancing the orange and the blue together.
Beautiful.
Well done.
Thanks, Keith. Lovely comment. Laurie, shout.
So add that if you get to have a look at this up on the wall, the texture in this, it looks like it's been painted. It's beautiful. So nice choice of paper too.
Well deserving. Thanks, guys. Next print, please. This print scores a 76. Gary.
Yeah, look, I think the story of this couple heading somewhere has been perhaps a little bit lost, given the dress is kind of covering the legs up, and that idea of heading off into somewhere is a bit lost there. I could see what the photographer was doing, which was saying, here we go, we're heading off, but it just didn't quite come across, that thing.
Cool. Thanks, Gary. We're going to do a quick judge swap key for Luke. Simon, please. We are not going to do that. We're going to swap Luke for Karen Lynch instead. Sorry, team. We just like to make you exercise a little bit. It's been a while since, it's not a while since you've exercised. Okay. Yeah. What? Oh, okay, cool. Next print, please. Thank you, judges. This print scores an 82, silver award. Karen, could you comment on the print, please?
I want to say that this is maybe like, I can't think of the right word, a hanger. Is that maybe? Anyway, there's all this stuff going on, and then there's this kid who's just like totally in awe of this party around him, and it's just, it's a cool take on a reception shot where the photographer's just kind of stepped outside of it all, and I liked that.
Thanks, Karen. Next print, please. Thanks. Oh, we have an average of 81, but a majority of 79. David Hattie would like to challenge that, however. Oh, challenge it on 84 you're on, David. You're on 84. And you're dealing with a 78, sorry. Oh, 78, a 79, an 83, yourself on 84, and a 79 again.
Okay. When I first saw this, when it came around, first of all, I just saw all the shapes in the room. Everything was just pointing and leading towards the bride and groom. All the hands going there. Then there's some smoke coming in above, and then going into the image, it was just had a lovely crispness, which is just comes through from the blacks and the whites, which and the print quality is lovely. Everyone's having a great time. It's a candid moment that's caught just at the right time. There's a flower posy coming in or going out from the right. I think it's being launched actually. Everything about it is just that key moment of something that's happening at that wedding reception. And the quality of the print, as I said, is lovely with the dress. All the details are all there. And I just found it a completely enjoyable moment of a wedding that's been captured just right by the photographer. So I gave it a solid silver at 84.
Thanks, David. Karen, you're on the other end of the scale at 79.
Yeah, when it first turned around, I thought, oh great, it's a silver image. But what I really struggled with was that the bride and groom, there's great detail in her dress. Everything is really beautiful. But to the right of the bride and groom, there's a bridesmaid whose hair is really bright, and her arm, her shoulder, and then you've got the shirts of the fellows to the right and the left of the bride and groom, and I'm just finding that the bride and groom are competing with them, and I really, that's what's pulled it down for me. I just maybe wish that those whites were brought back a little bit, just so that the bride and groom were centre stage.
Thank you so much, Karen. David, you have a right of reply.
Sure. After being hit with a microphone. I'm usually I'm a tech head, and I loved seeing quality of prints and the highlights being burnt down, all that sort of thing. They are bright, and obviously the light's coming from that direction, and they could be toned down a little, but this is everything still leads to the bride and groom, and they have that. So often we see these images and they're just a little bit soft. This has just got crispness, and which goes with the feeling of the image and the feeling of the moment, and again leads to the bride and groom to that point where you just go, oh, I would have loved to be there. That was fun.
Thanks, David. You're going to stay at 84, and everybody else will rescore, please. Print scores an 81. Congratulations. Can I please swap out David for Luke? David Evans, sorry, yes. David Evans. And we'll have the next print, please. I'm going to say a massive thank you to our wonderful print handlers. We have Kane and Kate and Asan out the back. Thank you, guys. Couldn't happen without you.
Oh, hang on. Okay. Yep.
We know you're back there, guys. Say hello. Yeah, there we go. There we go.
I'm Sam.
There he is. Oh, and Sam as well now. Hi, Sam. Guys, we have a 79 for this print. Luke, Simon, can I get a comment from you, please?
Just the skin tones troubled me a bit in the two bridesmaids sort of peeking around the door. It was a beautiful, quite beautiful moment. Dad seeing bride for the first time in the day, and it's always a magical moment, and it's hard to capture and get everything into the scene, especially in a single capture like this. And maybe just if they're going to revisit this for APPA, just to print the right-hand side with the bride with a bunch more contrast and just get some blacks in there and just sort of even it out a bit more.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Next print, please. You want to go? Okay, cool. Luke, can I stop you for David Evans? Can I get you to jump back on again? Just for one. Or maybe two. Karen's going to challenge that, however, on 87. Go for it. No.
No, you are not.
Sorry, Louise.
Why were you here? What are we doing?
Oh, the detail in this print, the printing quality and the detail is just, I really would love you to get up and have another look at it. It's a moment, this is single capture. And this is just the little baby's eyelashes are in focus. We've got beautiful detail in the dress. We've got beautiful detail even in the bottle and the skin, and everything is lovely printing wise. But again, like, this is just a quiet moment for a bride and groom. I mean, as a young family, they've obviously started their family before they got married. So as a young family, I mean, that's just beautiful. Everyone's having a drink. Everyone's celebrating. So what have we got it sitting on?
So it's sitting on 82. Yourself at 87. We've got a 79, another couple of 83s and a 78.
I would love to see it come up for silver with distinction if possible.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Let's have a chat to Laurie. You're on the other end of the scale at 78.
Yeah, look, I really struggled with this because I could see all that beautiful detail that you're talking about, and I would expect that from a professional photographer in this sort of situation. What I was let down was that background, and then I thought, maybe those windows are tinted and that's why they look like that. But then I looked in between their heads and I could see it was clear, it was white. So obviously there's been some work there, and it just looked really muddy and messy, and I thought, well, that's something the photographer can actually control and do something about, and I would have expected that to be spot on, and that's why I held back from giving it an award.
Thanks, Laurie. Can I have a chat with Gary? Would love to have a chat.
Yeah, I was on 83, and I talk about multitasking, and I mean, look, I doubt whether this is a fairly regular situation. You know, I think the chances of getting a picture like this are really, really slim for a whole raft of reasons. So it's a fairly unique picture when you start to think about it on a lot of levels. What's the bet she organised the whole wedding as well? You know, everything. I reckon that would be the case for sure. So I just think it's a it's a really subtle picture of a very complex situation too. So I'm at 83 and I can be swayed a bit further.
Thanks, Gary. Dave, would you like to have a chat as well?
I'm going to come up because I was a little too timid. I hear what is being said about the top left, but I want to say that if it wasn't toned down there, we would be picking on that. So in actual fact, really, we should only be picking on the tiny little triangle above their head, really. I don't see too much muddiness. I think it's okay, but I think the rest is good enough to be a silver distinction. Because of the moment, it's so lovely. It is printed, the rest of it's printed beautifully. And it's not something we often see. So
Beautiful. Thanks, David. Karen, you have a right of reply. Bring it home.
Yeah, I'm the same as David. I do see what you're saying with the technical issue there to the back, but I don't think it's enough to bring it down to just a silver. And I don't want to say just, because silver is great, but I think it's worthy of a silver with distinction. I think that maybe the photographer has tried to make sure that there's less distraction away from the three faces that we can see. I mean, yeah, I think it's just lovely. I think it's, I'm not supposed to use that word. I think it's great. I think it's
lovely,
cool.
it's lovely.
It's family. It's luscious. It's family. It's they're getting married. They're cementing their family status. They're beautiful.
Beautiful. Thanks, guys. Karen, you'll stay at 87 and everybody else gets to rescore, please. Lovely. A silver distinction at 86. Nice work, Karen. Well done. Good job, guys. Next print, please. Guys, this print scores a 78. Laurie, could I grab a comment from you because you're on the slightly higher side? Would you like to talk to it?
I guess I just saw a really intimate moment here for, I'm imagining, Dad, who's just framed beautifully in the scene that he's in. The photographer's just taken a step back and just, put everything around it just to really frame him beautifully, and I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Thanks, Laurie. Next print, please. Thanks, guys. This print scores an 82. Solid silver award. Nice work. Can I ask David Haddy, please, for a quick comment?
This is a lovely print quality, and I commend the photographer. It's beautifully printed. To bring this and just the quality of the light and the framing of the tree and the shape of everything, I would have loved to have seen the bride's face just a little bit further around. At the moment, when we look right in there to the detail, she's sort of looking back to the groom, which is lovely for the groom. But it'd be nice to see her walking forward with him and seeing that, just that little bit of extra emotion coming through there. But beautiful print.
Good job, guys. Next print, please. Thanks, judges. We have a 78 here. Karen Lynch, can I get a little quick comment how the photographer can improve, please?
It's a lovely moment of their wedding day. The horizon line going straight through them is a bit too distracting for me. I like the idea of what they're trying to do, but I'm just wondering if maybe a different angle might have stopped that from happening, perhaps.
Thanks, guys. Next print, please. Thanks, team. This print scores a 76. David Hattie, quick comment.
Sure. It's a lovely court moment. I love the expressions and the feeling that the photographer has got with the bride and groom. We have quite a hot spot just before it, which brings our eyes down, and the brightness of the dress brings us away from the faces. And perhaps in this sort of image, with that lovely triangle, the depth of the trees just to the left of the bride and groom, one large step to the right by the photographer, and they would have been framed just perfectly in that little area there. So just a little bit of perspective, and that would just frame everything nicely.
Beautiful. Thank you, David. And next print, please. Oh my goodness. That's a wrap, guys. So that concludes the wedding category, and thank you to Nikon again. That was an amazing category. I'm going to hand it over to the wonderful Louise Bagger to finish up all the things.
So that concludes the judging for the 2019 AIPP EPSON SANT Professional Photography Awards. Well done indeed. We, of course, want to thank EPSON, our major sponsors, incredibly every year as again. And I think Bruce Williams is out the back there somewhere. Bruce, are you there? Bruce? Is Bruce there? Is Bruce actually there? Come and say hi, Bruce. Come and say hi, Bruce. Bruce. We just, yay! We love making a big deal of our sponsors. They go to amazing lengths for us to make things like this happen, to make events like this happen, so that we can keep doing the amazing things that we do for the AIPP. So thank you, Bruce. Thank you, EPSON. Also thank you to Martin for hosting us this year once again, to Malcolm and his team. And absolutely, we're still... Now, can I also get our print handlers from out the back to show your faces, please? Because without them... Come on out, come show your faces. Fantastic. We want to say thank you. Can I also get a quick showing? Sue and Carla, who are working back of house, making sure you get your gorgeous certificates in your print cases. Sue and Carla, can you just come show your faces, please? Sue and Carla.
No, too busy.
No? Just say hello. Thank you, Sue and Carla. And I know Kylie, not yes.
And had a cup.
We also want to thank the South Australian Council for helping us put all this together. So thank you to G and your crew. You've done an amazing job. So thank you very much to everyone. So everyone else who has volunteered and helped out, to all our judges, to our interstate judges, to George, Laurie and Gary, thank you for making the trip down. Thank you for helping us out. You've absolutely been flogged. So I do hope I've remembered to mention everybody. I do hope. And then, of course, there's all our sponsors for all the categories who support these awards year after year and just keep on coming. I know Carl from Olympus is up there. Carl, can you just say hi? So Carl Ludick from Olympus. He's been sitting up there very quietly in his little corner, but yeah, we love you, Carl. So yeah, once again, thank you everyone. Thank you judges. Thank you ball boys. And dinner tomorrow night. There are still tickets available. Hop on the AIPP website, go to the events page, book in, come along, do some barefoot bowling. And don't forget to wear your gongs. We will see you then. Thank you all. Oh, there's one more, but wait, there's more.
We haven't. Are we good? We haven't quite finished yet either, by the way. We have some PPY judging to finish off on. So please just hang here, judges. It'll be ready to go pretty much straight away. A little bit more to do. Thank you. Sorry.
Thanks, Gary. Sorry.
I don't know how to do that.